Do you have any questions before we start? I miss lots of students are not attending today. I don't know why. Okay, what about now نورا? Is it fine now? الصوت واضح الآن؟ كيف أفضل الآن؟ Okay. Any question before we start? We will start completing the material today and we will start chapter 6. Good, there are 6 students have attended now. We will start now chapter 6. This will be the last sessions before we end. So you prepare yourself for the midterm, then prepare yourself for the final. Okay. طيب نبدأ الآن. Just I'll find the slides. I will share the screen. It might be better to see the slides. Share my screen. Share it now. Okay. Here we go. We have arrived to slides number 22. Quick revision of what we have covered in the previous lecture. Profit, normal accounting profits, difference between normal and accounting profits. After that, we have seen the cost and the productions, and we have gone through the concept of the marginal product and the marginal cost. And this is the total product curve, a marginal product curve. Type. Look at this schedule. This is one of the most important tasks that might come in the final exam as topics. If we have a productions and costs, so we have explained that. You see here there are number of lanterns اللي هي فوانيس رمضان per day productions. If I have one worker, I produce nothing. If I have one worker, I will produce 80 units. If I have 2, I'll produce 200. If I have 3, I'll produce 200. If I have 3, I'll produce 260. If I have 4, I will produce 300. If I have 5, I'll produce 330. The fixed cost is 40. Fixed cost means fixed. Like what? Like salary, like rent. Something won't change. Maybe let's do it as a rent. Variable cost is, this is the variable. تكلفة متغيرة. It's the other type of cost beside the fixed cost. I have the variable cost. If I have a fixed cost 40, like a rent, the variable cost might be the salary or an individual labor cost. If I have one labor cost, I have one labor worker, it will cost me 12 for maybe for this. This is the change in the variable cost. Okay. So we have 2 categories in cost, fixed cost and variable cost. Both of them equal the total cost. 40 plus 12 equal 52. What is the marginal cost and how to get the marginal cost? The marginal cost explanation is the change in total cost resulted in the change in the number of output. The output change in total cost resulted in change in output. This is what we mean by the marginal cost. How to get that? I will show you by calculating this. Change in total cost, the change between 40 and 52 is 12, isn't it? 52 minus 40 is 12. Resulted in change in the number of units. Change from 0 to 80 is 80. So 12 divided by 80 هيعطيني كم؟ 15, which is 15. Is that clear? Value of marginal cost. Since it's clear, I'll move to another slide. So the concept of marginal cost is clear. It's the difference in total cost divided by the difference in the number of units. The explanation of marginal cost, if you've been asked in the exam, define the marginal cost, you should say it is changing in total cost resulted in changing in the number of output, whatever they are. And these are the charts, how to draw the curve of total cost. It looks like that. The curve of fixed cost, it's 40, look like that curve. The curve of variable cost looks like that. It looks like that. This is the variable cost. If you've been asked to draw these curves, I think you are able to do it. Fixed, variable, total. Variable and total goes together, but total cost higher than the variable cost because it has the effect of the fixed cost inside. Okay? Marginal cost. How to choose the output that maximize the profit. البروفيت اللي هو total revenue. This is where we have stopped in the past lecture. Choosing the output that maximize the profit. The profit is the total revenue minus the total cost. الإيراد ناقص التكاليف يعطيك الربح. Total cost, fixed cost plus variable cost. We have just seen that. A profit is total revenue minus a variable والfixed cost both together, which are a total cost. So the firm must know about both revenue اللي هو الإيراد and cost in order to maximize the profits. عشان يحقق أعلى ربح, it has to know the cost and the revenue. So the output will be maximized if the marginal benefits, and that's what we learned from chapter 1 and 2, from chapter 1 and 3, if the marginal benefits greater than the marginal cost. قلنا دائما في المنفعة في in benefits, in cost and benefits analysis, if the marginal benefits greater than the marginal cost, go on and continue producing or continue consuming if we are talking about only benefits. Decrease output if the marginal benefit less than the marginal cost. If the marginal benefit, I will explain that in chart. Marginal revenue means change in total revenue resulted in change in output, similar to marginal cost, similar to marginal product. Change in total revenue resulted in change in output. If the marginal benefits equal the marginal cost or the marginal revenue, then I have to go on and continue. The cost benefit principles says that if a marginal benefit equal a marginal revenue larger than the marginal cost, then I have to produce the units. I have to go on. Here في الاكزامبلز تبعنا اللي عندنا we have an examples البرايس المارجنال ريفينيو equal equal 35. خليني اشوف في الجدول اللي عندي هنا. المارجنال benefits المارجنال revenue والمارجنال كوست revenue 35 في الكولمز عندك هنا. طيب المارجنال كوست تبدا من start from 15 10 30 40. This is a production functions دالة إنتاج. أستخدم أو أنتج 80. I use one. If I use 2 labor, I will produce 200 until when I have to continue using labors and produce more. The marginal cost. Okay, the marginal revenue here is 30. It's given. The marginal cost we have calculated the marginal cost as I have shown you. البروفيت عبارة عن التوتال cost ناقص minus التوتال revenue. This is the profit columns. Okay, 40 minus 0, it's minus 28, is 24. 64 minus 70, it's 6. 76 minus 91, it's 15. Find the profit cost columns. I have the total cost column, which is variable cost plus the fixed cost. Variable and fixed. Margin resulted in change. This is how I find this one marginal revenue change from 0 to 80. It is 80. I'll show you here how to find the marginal revenue. 80 is 28. It's 28. 0 to 80, it's 80. So 28 change in total revenue divided by change in output divided by 80, it is 35. Okay? Between 28 and 70, 28 minus 70, it is 42. Divided by change between 80 and 200 is 120. Divided by 120 and so on. This is the marginal revenue columns. The theory say producing more and recruit more employees from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 until marginal revenue here greater than the marginal cost. طيب المارجنال revenue هنا 0.35. The marginal cost is 0.20. Should I continue producing? Yes, since this is larger than this. Here it's 35. Here it's 30. Still revenue larger than cost. Here it's 40. So now the marginal cost is greater than the marginal revenue. In here, in unit number 4 or employing recruiting number 4, العامل رقم 4, I should stop here. I should not work in number 4. I have to stop in number 3. I have to recruit only 3 laborers, 3 workers, 3 employees and I have to produce 260. I think I have to work with the fourth one. I have to work with the fourth one because I still have here it's 35 and I have to produce 300, and the marginal revenue is marginal cost is 30 here. It's 30 here, not 40. It's 30. Between that, it's 30. In this case, still the marginal revenue larger than the marginal cost in number 4. And I produce 300 units. And total revenue 150. And total cost is 88. The difference between marginal revenue and marginal cost is the difference between 30 and 35. Still, the marginal revenue larger than the 35. What's happened in the profit columns? Look, in here, I find 17 is the highest profit that I make. And then apply the theory of continue to work until marginal profit and unless until or whatever marginal revenue larger than the marginal benefits. ف 17 في البروفيت column is the highest. هذه أعلى ممكن يحققها المنتج. This is the highest value of profit that a producer can make. And it's happened when the last point when he produced 300 units, recruit 4 workers or employees and produce 300 units with the marginal revenue 0.35 and the marginal cost 0.30. So still marginal revenue larger than marginal cost. I hope it's clear. Is it clear? Hello? Do you hear me? Okay. Fine. Thank you. Let's move to the next slides. This is explanation for the scale in chart. This is the curve of total cost. This is the curve of total revenue. This is the curve of profits. Okay. The highest profits النقطة here فين? This is the curve of profit in here in this point. هذه أعلى نقطة. This is the high, isn't it? If you go like that here, you find it in around 17, the value of 17, similar to what we have in the schedule. This is the highest point in the profits. This point happened at the highest point or the largest gap between total revenue and total cost. أكبر فرق between the total revenue, the largest difference between total revenue and total cost in this area. If I draw a columns from here, so I will find this is the highest point of profit and the largest point of the largest difference between total revenue and total cost. أكبر فرق هو في المنطقة هذه. These curves are parallel. متوازيين هنا في النقطة هذه. They are parallel in this point. And the slope of total profits here equal وصل in here in this point the slope is that in a diagram. So the profit maximization points happen in here where the total have the largest difference when the total profit curve slope is equal to 0 and when point on the total profit curve. Okay, this is what we have just explained. Let us calculate profits 17 at output 100. شفنا في السكيجول the highest point largest profit 17 at a total output of 300. What we have seen here, this is the largest profit 17 and our largest productions and 300. وزي ما شفت في الفيجر ولا charts, profit maximization reflected in the highest point of the profit curve, أعلى نقطة على منحنى الربح. The largest difference between TR and TC, as I showed you in the graph, the slope of profit functions is equal to 0. These are conditions to make profit maximization. And this is how to construct the profit maximization mathematically until we reach the marginal revenue equal the marginal revenue equal the marginal cost, slope of total revenue equal the slope of total cost. Total revenue and total cost are parallel, متوازيين، المنحنيين متوازيين. Now, if you got a question saying, what if the fixed cost was 45 instead of, assume that it's gonna to be 45, is that affecting the optimum or the maximization, affect the level of output that to maximize profit? Yes or no? No. Fixed cost has no rule in determining the maximum profits. Since the fixed costs do not affect the marginal cost. What affects the marginal cost? Only the variable cost. To summarize, to sell that in summary, when the law of dimension returns to scale apply, تناقص الغلة، قانون تناقص الغلة, the dimensions, the law of dimension returns, قانون تناقص العائد, when a fixed input exists, increase in output if marginal cost is less than a price, decrease in output if the marginal cost is lower than the price. However, some exceptions exist. I will show you that in a diagram. These are the curves of marginal cost, the curve of average total cost, and the curve of average variable cost. Look, يقول لك go on and طالما ايش؟ marginal cost curve affects or interact with the average cost. From here, we make profit. In this area, we make profit. Between the average cost, you should not produce, you have to get off the market. The marginal cost less than the average cost. If the marginal cost, you have to go on and continue working slide say. You have to shut down. You have to close the project. Average value are the total divided by the quantity. أي حاجة تبقى. طبعا ال VC يعطيك ال ATC less than the average variable cost. خلاص هنا المنحنيات هذه الافريج هي اللي بتقول لك it will tell you shut down or continue. So if the price is less than the average variable cost, you have to shut down and close. خليني اجي للchart او للschedule in front of me. I have average variable cost and total cost. The difference between خلود VC and AVC, this is the average. AVC is the average. VC is the variable cost, التكلفة المتغيرة، وهنا متوسط التكلفة المتغيرة. How did I get the AVC? I'll show you here how did I get the AVC. It was a VC. Then I divide by Q. Then I got the AVC. Now I have the schedule AVC and ATC. AVC, average variable cost, average total cost. You are welcome. Employees, numbers of employees, number of productions, quantities, variable cost, average variable cost. If you divide 12 by 80, 12 by 80, it will give me 15, which is the average. If you divide 24 by 200, it will give me 12. This is the average variable cost. The total cost is the variable cost plus the fixed cost. Total cost, the variable cost plus the fixed cost. The fixed cost is given. كم قالوا لنا الفixed cost? Do you remember? The fixed cost, they said 40. Yes. Thank you, Rawan or Radwan. The variable cost 12. 12 plus 40, it's 52. It's 52 here. This is the total cost. Total cost يعني variable cost plus the fixed cost. The fixed cost will go all over the columns here. إذا نزلت عمود زيادة هنا, if I initial a new columns in here, which is the fixed cost, I will make it all 40. So variable cost plus fixed cost equal total cost. Average total cost. What is the average total cost? Is the value of the total cost divided by quantity. يعني 52 divided by 80 will give me 0.65. 64 divided by 200 will give me 0.32. 76 divided by 260 will give me 0.292, the average. Marginal costs, and do you remember how do you get that in the past lecture? What's the definition of the marginal cost? Changing in total cost resulted in changing of the number of units. Changing in total cost divided by change in number of units. So difference between these two and difference between these two. Divide both value and you will get this value. And we have explained that earlier. Is it clear? How did we get these numbers? Should I repeat it again? Should I say it again or it is clear? Marginal cost? Okay. I will do it again. The marginal cost definition is changing in total cost resulted in changing in number of units. Changing in total cost, the difference between 40 and 52 minus 52, it is 12. Okay, it is 12. Changing in number of unit, difference between 0 and 80, it is 80. Then I have here 12 divided by 80, it will give me 15. Difference between 52 and 64, it is also 12. 12. Difference between 80 and 200, it is 120. So 12 divided by 120, it is 10. 0, 10. And so on. A firm is profitable if its total revenue is greater than its total cost. صحيح؟ إذا الإيراد أكبر من التكاليف أنت بتحقق ربح. الإيراد اللي هو التوتال ريفنيو هو فعلا البرايس في الكوانتيتي، السعر في الكمية يعني التوتال ريفنيو. This is what we mean by total revenue. Price multiply quantity. If it is larger than ATC, multiply Q. Since ATC اللي هي average total cost equal total cost divided by Q, another way to state this is to divide both sides of the inequity by Q to get P larger than ATC. As long as the firm's price is greater than its average total cost, then the firm is profitable. Price larger than the average total cost. If notes that if marginal cost must intertax both average versus cost and average total cost, this is what I have shown you in the chart. I have not to say that again. This is what we have said in the chart. وقلنا لكم we should have the price higher than the average variable cost. Let's go down to this one. ATC curve is generally U-shaped. Average total cost shaped like U, the letter of U. Fixed cost dominant at low level of output. As production increase, كل ما زدنا الإنتاج, average fixed cost decrease. متوسط التكلفة تقل. طبعا كل ما انتجت بحجم كبير وتكلفتك ثابتة هتقل التكلفة. As production increase, average fixed cost decrease and average variable cost increase. التكلفة المتغيرة بتزيد due to the dimension returns. قانون تناقص الغلة. Eventually causing average total cost to rise. What's the reason behind the U shape of average total cost curve? ليش هذا شكله U? Okay, I would say it again. Why the curve of average total cost U shaped? This is because of the dimension return to scale. قانون تناقص الغلة. The average total curve is generally U-shaped because fixed cost dominant at low level of output. هنا في المنطقة هذه fixed cost dominant at low level of output. As production increase, average fixed cost decrease and average variable cost increase due to the mentioned return to scale. In this area في الرسم البياني عندي economic of scale. In here this area constant return to scale. In here dimensioned return to scale, or this economy return to scale. What's the increased return to scale means? Increasing one labor or one unit of productions اللي هو labor أو worker will result in increasing production more than the increments in the cost. الإنتاج حيكون أكثر من التكلفة. لو زدت عامل واحد, if I increase one labor, this will give me a more production than the increment in the cost. And here this area, if I increase one labor, I increase the cost, the productions will be the same as the increment in the cost. In this area, if I increase one labor, then the cost of this labor will be higher than the output. Here the cost will be less than the output. Here the cost will equal the output. Here the cost will be higher than the output. And this is why it looks like U-shaped, reflect the dimension return to scale, the law of dimension to scale law. وهذا explanation of what we have just said. This is one of the important points that should be mentioned or can come in the final exam. The dimension return to scale. The law of dimension return to scale and the cause of the U-shape of average total cost curve. This is the last slide and the last point in Eco101. Before we conclude, these are the three cases of the U-shape. Economic of scale يكون عندي عائد غلة متزايد when all input are changed by giving proportions. Output changed by more than that proportions. Constant return when all input are changed by given proportions. Output changed by the same proportions. This economics of scales, then when all inputs are changed by a given proportion, output changed by less than that proportions. Okay, we have three cases: economic of scale, constant return to scale, this economic of scales, and you are required to explain where to find every one of these propositions or proposal. Is it okay? By that we have completed the chapter 6, and really very glad to have you in this class. If you have any questions in the future, we'll keep doing that via LMS. Contact me via emails, via LMS. I will be glad to hear from you. This is my email, and be glad to hear from you anytime if you have any questions. Inshallah, for the midterm exam, we have posted some samples on LMS. هتدخل على LMS وتشوف السامبلز تبع المidterm exam. If you are unable to attend to the university, we'll give you the exam at home. You answer the questions. Do not open the book. We'll give you 2 hours and send back the exam with its answer. And that's it. You will have a quiz 2 now. The quiz 2 topic will be announced on LMS. متى وقت الكويز 2? It's been postponed a little bit لأن ننتهي من الأزمة until we finish this issue. بعد ما ننتهي من الأزمة حق كورونا هذه هيفتحوا لكم الكويز 2. إن شاء الله تقدروا تسووا الكويز 2 on LMS. هيبقى عندنا الفاينل exam والmidterm exam on time as announced on LMS. The exam could be at home, could be at the university. Umayma. If it is not allowed, still not allowed to come to the university, we will give you the exam at home. you answer the questions and send it back to me. But do not open the book as I told you. The quiz will be announced on LMS. Please follow the LMS. If you don't follow the LMS, it's not my responsibility to tell you when the quiz is. It is your responsibility to follow the announcement on LMS. اللي يفوت عليه الكويز, he will not get any chance or other chance to do the quiz again. Okay? For those who missed quiz 1, they might contact me at my email after doing the quiz 2, telling me that we missed quiz 1. So I will multiply the grade of quiz 2 to quiz 1. But only for those who missed the quiz 1. Thank you for attending. If you have no questions, we can leave now. Question of midterms are available on LMS, revision questions. You can do a group of WhatsApp anytime you want between students. We can contact via the post on LMS. Post any message on LMS and we will answer. And this is similar to group. And this is an official group at LMS. So I'll be obligated to answer your questions. Okay, if you have no questions, see you inshallah in exams. Have a nice holiday and good luck.